Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the Tsavo Man Eaters, which are the maneless male lions that are responsible for potentially 135 deaths. Now the Tsavo Man Eaters have a really interesting story. So interesting in fact that a very famous movie was made about them, The Ghost in the Darkness, which I'm sure the movie was pretty exaggerated a little bit. So today we're going to be talking about the true story of the Tsavo Man Eaters and the reason why they decided to divert from normal prey and eat a whole bunch of humans. So like many of you know, I'm doing a series on the deadliest man-eaters in history. In my last video I talked about the Beast of Gévaudan, which is this unknown mysterious wolf-like creature that has a lot of unknown stuff surrounding it, but it did kill upwards of 100 people in 1700s France. But anyways, go watch the rest of my videos. I'm doing 2 more kind of like this in this series, so hit the notification bell if you want to hear that. Anyways, let's get into it. Now, today's real-life monsters are the Tsavo Man Eaters, which is this pair of adult male lions that tormented the Tsavo region in Kenya during a 9-month period in 1898. The lions killed at least 35 people, and as many as 135 according to Lieutenant Colonel John Henry Patterson, which I'm about to talk about him. In March 1898, the British started building this railway bridge over the Tsavo River in Kenya, which at the time this was a British colony, and Lieutenant Colonel John Henry Patterson was sent to oversee construction of the railway bridge. But before Patterson had even arrived to supervise the construction, rumors of man-eating lions had already started to circulate the local area in Kenya. Soon after this, though, Patterson saw for himself that the rumors were true. This is a quote from John Patterson's book, The Man Eaters of Tsavo. On reaching the spot where the body had been devoured, a dreadful spectacle presented itself. The ground all around was covered with blood and the morsels of flesh and bones, but the unfortunate Jemaddar's head had been left intact, which Jemadar is this Indian-British soldier, save for the holes made by the lion's tusk on seizing him, and lay a short distance away from the other remains, the eyes staring wide open with a startled, horrifying look in them. The place was considerably cut up, and on closer examination we found that 2 lions had been there and had probably struggled for possession of the body. It was the most gruesome sight I had ever seen. We collected the remains as well as we could and heaped stones on them. The head with its fixed, terrified stare seemed to watch us all the time, for we did not bury it, but took it back to the camp for identification before the medical officer. Thus occurred my first experience with the man-eating lions, and I vowed there and then that I would spare no pains to rid the neighborhood of the brutes. So reports claim that the lions would come into the campsites at night and drag people from their tents as they slept. And after these incidents in March, there was a period of calm with no attacks. However, a couple months later, the Tsavo Lions returned and started to attack again. The workers tried to prevent the lions from coming into their campsite with fires, and they built this thorn fence, but the attacks continued to the point to where they were happening almost every single night. At this point, the bridge construction had completely stopped. The men were fleeing the area to avoid being eaten. Patterson then stepped up and began hunting the lions. On December 9th, 1898, Patterson shot one of the lions in its hind legs. It escaped, however, and then came back to the camp that same evening and began stalking Patterson as he tried to hunt it. Patterson shot the lion again and the next morning found its body not far from camp. It measured 9.6 feet from nose to the tip of its tail. 20 days later, on the 29th of December, the second lion was found and shot 6 times over the course of 11 days. Which then, I guess it died, it didn't explicitly say, but it then says, Patterson skinned the lions and used them as rugs until 1925, then he sold them to the Field Museum during a trip to Chicago. The museum used their hides to create taxidermy displays, which you can go view today at that museum. Pretty cool. By analyzing the hides and skulls of the lions, the museum estimated that one of the lions likely ate 11 humans and the other one consumed likely 24. While this is a lot of people for lions to eat, it is significantly less than the 135 that Patterson reported. But I mean, we don't know for sure. It could have eaten 135. I don't know how they would estimate that based on their size. So why in the world would these lions eat so many people? Now, there's several factors that could have played a role in them hunting and eating humans. In 1898, the Tsavo region had been hit by a drought and a European-introduced virus called rinderpest had killed many of the cat's natural prey, including buffalo and wildebeest. Which, if you don't know, rinderpest is this ancient plague that would kill entire herds of animals. Us humans have been having herds of our animals killed since the Roman times. Essentially, it's like human measles, but for animals. Another possible reason that the lions could have began getting accustomed to eating humans is because the British engineers planned this railway along this old caravan route that had brought slaves from Uganda to the Congo. This caravan trail would have left a steady trail of dead or dying slaves, which the lions would have eaten and gotten used to. But the most likely reason that the lions turned to eating people is because of dental issues. Scientists documented that one of the Tsavo lions was missing 3 bottom teeth and had a broken canine tooth and a large abscess in the tissue surrounding another tooth's root, which would have been really painful. The second lion also had damage to its mouth with a fractured upper tooth. Because of these injuries, humans would have made softer and easier to kill prey. Interestingly enough, the lion that had more dental issues supposedly ate more humans. In addition to their appetite, the cats were different from other big cats for a couple of different reasons. A big difference between the Tsavo lions and the other male lions that roam the savannah is that the Tsavo male lions didn't have manes, which this could be a genetic reason that went back to an old lineage of lions whose manes were a disadvantage for hunting. But other explanations suggest that it was an increase in testosterone levels which caused hair follicles to shrink. There's also the hot, dry climate which could have been an unsuitable condition for a bushy mane. It's also uncommon for 2 male lions to hunt together, which they're usually seen with 10 lioness who usually hunt for them, which I couldn't find a consensus agreement on why they both hunted together. So the Tsavo Lions were the 3rd real-life monster for this series. The way the cats picked off workers one by one is truly horrifying to imagine. With Patterson's book and the lions being on display in Chicago, these man-eaters are pretty well known and have a few movies made about them. The most popular is called The Ghost in the Darkness. Some sources I read said that the locals gave the lions the name The Ghost in the Darkness, which are pretty cool names, but it may have just came from this movie. Which, the movie's not completely accurate, but it is overall really good to watch. It's a great movie. Anyways, that's all I got for the Tsavo Man Eaters. I have 2 more videos to do in this series. I'll probably do the Champawat Tiger and the Pinar Leopard, potentially. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. You guys truly are a blessing. Thanks for all the subscribers. Just crazy. Thanks, guys. Anyways, have a great day. Over and out.